So there's a famous saying, you can take the kid out of the area, but you can't take the area out of the kid. And that is the realest truth. So I'm a Jamaican, so you don't know I've got 100,000 family members. My immediate household is quite small. Just me, my little brother, little sister, mum, stepdad. But my extended family, big. I remember one time, me and my older cousin done a little family tree. It's about 15 years ago. We put my great grandmother right at the top. And then we listed obviously all of her kids and then the kids that her kids had and so on and so forth. Yo, when we was done with the family tree, she had about 60 family members under her. Imagine having 60 living relatives. They all come straight from you, you know. So I got a bag of cousins. I got cousins in Tottenham, Hackney, different parts of North London and that, South London. Got a big family. And I had this one cousin. He's from North London and he's a fucking rebel. His mum could see from a young age, like 13, 14 years old, he was going down the wrong path. So you know what she did? She moved to Braintree in Essex. Far away. Like a 50-mile journey, something like that. And every now and then, he would just escape. He would just leave the area and come to North London and switch off his phone. His mum can't get hold of him and that. He'd probably go and stay with one of his friends, or he might go to his dad's house in North London, whatever and that. He really didn't like living in Braintree, and it was dead. Like even his grandma used to live near me. Every now and then I used to go and see her, say hello to her and that. And she said, you know what, as bad as such and such is, as much as he's on the wrong path, I know his mum moved him out there for a good reason and that, but I understand why he runs off and he disappears for weeks on end. Because Jelani, it's boring. Yeah? She said, it's boring out there. There's nothing to do in Braintree. Imagine you're going from North London, a rowdy area, or a rowdy you know what I'm saying? You know what it's like on the ends and that. Imagine going to some dead suburb. I've never even been there. I don't want to go there. So anyway, like I said, you can take the kid out of the area, but you can't take the area out of the kid. And I'm realizing that as a big rascal, man. I'm 32 years old. So obviously, it's Tuesday today. I went down to Edmonton for the weekend. And I was literally dragging my heels. I didn't want to leave, you know. Sunday. Do you know what time I left on Sunday? Technically Monday. So it was gone midnight. So it was 12:30 a.m., technically Monday morning. That's when I left Edmonton to come to Northampton. I didn't want to leave. And I remember there was one time, this is probably about 2 years ago, I was in Edmonton. Yo, I don't want to use the D word. Not a state of depression and that. But yo, you know when you don't want to leave. You know when you don't want to go back home or whatever and that. I really didn't want to leave. Like for some reason, yeah, I just didn't want to leave. So I understand the term, you can take the kid out of the area, but you can't take the area out of the kid. Like me, I love where I come from, you know. Certain man I know, they're from my area, they're from Edmonton and that. But when you speak to them about Edmonton, they only got bad things to say. Oh, it's a shithole, or it's this, it's that. I can't stand the area. I don't like coming through. I don't like passing through and that. I used to think to myself, why? But I know why. You see, certain man, unfortunately, they were not fortunate enough to be a part of the A team. So, you know, in this world, there's wolves and there's sheep. I know which one I was. Them man there was sheep. So them man, they used to fall victim to certain man on the road and that. That's why growing up in Edmonton was a bad experience for them. Me, yo, Edmonton was like a big playground. When you're part of the A team, you're nice, fam. Yeah, you ain't got no problems. You ain't gonna have no drama with no one. Obviously, every now and then, man, have a little in-house politics. You get me with one of my brethren and that. But other than that, yeah, man, it was a big playground and that. Like, as a 32-year-old man, I still get happy. I still get excited. Like, when I'm on the motorway and I touch down. Get me? When I drive down, Berry Street, then hit Winchester Road, then bam, on Church Street, and I see the 3 big tower blocks. I'm like, yeah, I'm back. So, yeah, if you don't know a child that's moved out of the area, they always want to go back to their original area, their natural habitat, and I know why. Yeah, man. Obviously, I wouldn't want to raise my son in Edmonton because, put it this way, if we lived in an era where man just used their fists, yeah, every now and then, once every 5 years, someone you get me, and they get off than that, then yeah, I wouldn't mind my son growing up in Edmonton because I want my son to grow up rough. I want my son to use his fists, you know what I'm saying? But It's not like that now. You used to just get in, you get me, over nothing. So I can't put my son in that sort of environment and that. But if Edmonton, or if the area that we live in now was a sort of era where any problems that people have got, like back in the day, not even in my day, before my day, man would just use their fist, no problem. Yeah, I grew up, you get me, I grew up fighting and that. So it's natural that you're a man, blood. At the end of the day, yeah, at some point, yeah, talking ain't gonna work, so you're gonna have to use your fists and that. But yeah, man, well, I'll always love Edmonton, man. I'd never wanna, yeah, I would love to. The thing is, I wouldn't move back to Edmonton, but definitely move close to Edmonton so I can always be in Edmonton, man. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise, ton, man.